Welcome back, Fate of the Game viewers, to another edition of The Rundown with me, your host, Dalton Miller. Tonight we're going to be talking about War of the Roses Kingmaker. It's developed by Fat Shark and published by Paradox. It came out originally in October of 2012. It only released with a few maps and maybe a couple modes, and not many customization options. It was received pretty well. But anyway, a few months ago, I think actually March, they re-released the game under the subtitle Kingmaker. Originally it had kind of a free-to-play element to it, and now in Kingmaker you get the entire package altogether. And it not only includes multiple new maps, I think it's a total of 12 at this point, spread over five complete modes. It's kind of a spin on, let's say, Battlefront, Battlefield formula. It's team-based multiplayer, except the twist is it's all medieval times. It actually takes place during the War of the Roses in British history. And it's basically knights and archers and crossbowmen and horseback riders and everything else that goes along with that. It's a really cool game. The graphics are pretty outstanding for what it is. So let's take a look. Yo people, let's take a look at this game. So I think kind of what we need to do first is look at the profile editor, which is basically your class selection system. It's really cool, really fleshed out. You basically start out with 5 individual classes here, ranging from kind of your basic thing, and then you have your custom classes there. The next thing is coat of arms, and that's kind of how you pick your player emblem, which of course is not a new feature. A lot of shooters and whatnot have it as well. There's a training mode that'll basically teach you all of the aspects of the game that you must know before you go into it. One thing I got to tell you about that I really enjoy about this game is it has out-of-the-box Xbox 360 gamepad support. I mean, literally everything, from the options menu to prompts to everything else, which is a really nice thing, and it plays really well. So basically, this is my custom guy. Kinsmen is what I call him. Whatever. I have Scottish ancestry, so whatever. It just felt fitting. And he uses the claymore. So, anyway, basically, you can kind of pick and choose based on your XP build. This is really not that much new as far as breaking ground. You basically unlock XP, then you can unlock different things for your guy. So every match basically starts out like this. You can choose a side, and then you go back to your selection mode. One thing I can say about the game so far that I kind of found weird is, like, the 5 starting classes are really good in comparison to anything you can build. At least, I mean, I'm about 12 or 14 hours into playing this so far, and my guy just got to the point where I'm comfortable with him on equal ground with the base selection. So yeah, basically you use the right stick to ready an attack, and then the right trigger, excuse me, to ready an attack, and then you release. You push the right stick in the direction that you want the attack to originate from. If you want to swing for the right side, you press right on the right stick. And this guy just killed me and executed me. Bear with me, people. It's hard to explain a game and talk about it while you're playing it, especially one that's a multiplayer-only game. There's kind of a lot going on, especially in this game. So, basically, that's how I just took an arrow to the head. Basically, that's how the combat works. It's all based on the right stick. If you've played maybe not Left 4 Dead, but Dead Island, and you've used that right stick analog control, got him, then you kind of know and understand exactly what I'm talking about here with the let me get this guy. Oh, what just happened to me is I was insta-killed. Most of the time when you get hurt badly enough, you go down. You can be revived, but if you take a shot to the face or to a place in your armor that is not fully covered, you may be insta-killed. The way the armor and the hit system works in this game is really impressive. See, I just insta-killed that guy. It's really impressive as far as how it works actually. Like any open spot. Oh, I just took one to the chin. Any open spot on your armor is a critical point, and so the game has to be played knowing that. So basically, me running around with my face mask up right now leaves my whole face open to a critical instant death attack, which is kind of a cool aspect. So I can put that mask down, but for the purposes of this, I'm not going to because it will. Oh, that sucks. Like you saw, I got, if you get wounded badly enough, you'll start to lose blood and bleed out over a timer. And of course I was hit again, so, and if you're hit in that time period you're bleeding out, you will instantly go down. But back to the reason I'm not going to close the mask, because it can restrict your vision. Basically, whatever mask you're using or face shield, it determines the way you see. So some heavier armors allow you to see less but be more protective. So it's kind of a cool trade-off there. So basically, you can bandage yourself. I'm not going to be able to do it. This guy's going to kill me. This guy's been a real problem. Basically, you saw what I was trying to do there is you can bandage yourself in and out of a fight if you're injured. You notice what kind of damage you have either by, of course, you're bleeding out and your screen's completely red, or you see blood splatter around the edges of the screen. The shield gameplay is kind of cool. That's kind of what I'm trying to show here. And it's pretty effective, but a one-handed sword, it is a quicker attack, which means heavier armor. The blue shield you're seeing when I hit this guy is everywhere I've hit him is fully protected, and the shield's not. I mean, the sword is not heavy enough to actually do any damage to it. And he just executed. Yeah, he's a real fun guy to play against. Hopefully, let me see if I can switch somebody heavier and take him out of the game for us. Oh, not going to be a problem. So this game mode is Assault. And basically, you're working towards a final point of capture. One team is on offense, one team is on defense. And once every point along the map is taken, that becomes your new spawn point and base. The way sprint works in this game is pretty cool. It kind of forces you to have to fight at all times. Literally, unless you're an archer that has a speed boost perk, you're not going to get away. I'm going to go up, and I just took an arrow from that guy up there. Crap. Somebody get him. There we go. So this guy's going to get me up. It can be dangerous to execute guys, but also you get XP for doing it. But anyway, the way sprint works is basically if you run uninterrupted for a certain amount of, or a certain span of distance, depending on how heavily armored you are, you will go into sprint. And if you can land an attack, you can ready an attack while you're sprinting. And if you can land that attack without coming out of your sprint on another person, it is incredibly deadly. Yep, there we go, instant kill. The archers are very lightly armored usually because they want that mobility. Another thing, you just see the arrow he put into my shoulder there. The arrows are permanent. Until you heal yourself or heal by another player, you will always show those arrows on screen, which is really cool. I don't know why. I just think it's awesome. Little touches like that are really what gets me in games. And a lot of times it really can determine... got him. It really can determine whether a developer, spent a lot of time putting that extra coat of polish on the game. And as you can see, the armor, all the weapons, everything looks really nice. Oh, somebody got me in the back with an arrow. I was fighting that guy. The armor and everything else, like I said, the weapons, the backgrounds, everything, they did a really good job with this game as far as graphically. Really looks outstanding. And of course, I'm running it on the highest settings possible on a GTX 670. But for the most part, I mean, it's one of the... And the visual style being so bright. Of course, we'll take another look at a different map here in a minute because we kind of want to give you an idea of kind of... each map kind of has its own style and tone to it. And this one's kind of one of the more brighter... Like, okay, Middle Ages, everything's sunny, and knights, and chivalry, and, all that kind of crap. The other ones have darker tones, so... Anyway, I'm going to play with an archer here, if you can't tell already. The archery system in this game is really cool. I hate to keep using that word over and over again, but it is. It's really something different. And it definitely gives an extra level of skill. Well, that was nice. An extra level of skill to anyone trying to play as an archer that you have to perform with. But basically, anytime you pull back the bow, those two little dots from the bottom have to line up at the very top for you to get the most power and the most accuracy out of your shots. If you fire any earlier, you're more than likely going to hit what you're aiming at, but it's not going to have the power to penetrate heavier armors. At least not to the point where it'll be a deadly or critical shot. And if you miss the point of contact at 12 o'clock on the circle, then you'll still have your full power, but your accuracy will suffer. So you may not hit what you're aiming at. And there is friendly damage in this game, and from what I've seen, you could not turn it off, which is kind of a cool aspect. It is reduced, I will give it that. So you're definitely not going to be, because everybody's swinging axes and long swords and pole arms and everything around each other. You're definitely going to, oh gosh, you're definitely going to have some casualties on your friendly and enemy sides. But for the most part, I've only accidentally killed a few of my guys. And with the bow, that's the hard thing, because usually you're firing into groups of fighting enemies, so they're on the move. Let's see, what else am I talking about? Yeah, so this is the assault mode. Like I said, basically you're trying to get to that next objective, and you have a certain amount of enemy troops and time to do that. Or a certain amount of friendly reserve troops, and a timer that governs how long you have to do that. Some armors, shields, and whatnot, you cannot penetrate with a bow. I can't stress to you enough how much fun it is to play with the archer. I don't know why. There's another game that's kind of similar to this. I won't name it. It's a first-person perspective game, and I have played that as well. And it's kind of, I liked it at first, and once you get into it a little more, this just blows it out of the water, honestly. As far as the polish and the amount of latency reduction they do to have. I mean, so far I played it in a match, I think with the most is 64 players. And it's been as smooth as one with 3 or 4 players. I'm not sure what kind of netcode development structure they use, but it works really well. And I've played on AU servers and EU servers in addition to US ones. And literally, I have never seen anyone lag. I have never seen any of my hits or swings not connect in the way that I feel like they should. Maybe you just saw right there. Sometimes the animations between the executions and of course the cam things like getting people up and healing each other, they're kind of maybe not as clean looking as the combat, but my gosh, like I said, the combat is so enjoyable, and it's so skill based. You'll never feel like the game is the reason that you just failed at whatever you were trying to do. Usually if you're killed, it is 100% your fault. Which may not be the kind of game some people want to play. And of course, a game like that with a high dependency on skill and strategy especially, I mean, just winding up the right attack, be it from above or a which is holding up on the right stick, or a stab, which is pushing down on the right stick. Queuing up the right attack can be the difference in life or death, honestly. Success and failure in one shot. As the game definitely does a great job of showing you the brutality of pre-Napoleonic even combat, medieval combat, and how easily in a split second it can all be over for you, just like that. So there definitely is a learning curve associated with this game as well, as it would be with any skill-based situation or experience. And it may turn some people off originally, but I cannot tell you to stick with it enough. It's available on Steam right now. I'm not sure, it may or may not come to next-gen consoles. I haven't heard of any plans. Since Paradox is largely a PC a gaming production house, publishing house, I would imagine that it's probably going to stay PC. There is a possibility, never say never, but yeah, that was bad. And of course, fighting against overwhelming odds is never a good idea in this game, no matter how heavily armored you are, because no matter what, there's always open sections of your armor, whether it's your knees or your arms, or where it joins with your neck, or whatever. Currently, I'm using a guy who's got chainmail, so my neck is kind of protected, which will keep me from getting insta-killed that much. But of course, mask over it, so if I get hit in the face, it's all over. And there we go. We just won that round. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back into this. I just reselected a different game mode. This is just Team Conquest, I believe. Just kind of your, battlefield, battlefront, similar mode where you're just capturing control points. You got a timer and you've got a ticket counter down there in your bar. And you're trying to hold as many as you can for as long as you can, and hopefully hold more than the enemy team. So yeah, I'm going to keep playing with my main guy here. It's kind of that's sort of how I roll with the medium to heavy armor foot knight. And he usually carries a pole axe or a two-handed axe in addition to a longsword. But that pole axe is so devastating right there. Like, I mean, if you connect with a guy who's not so heavily armored like these guys, he caught me with one in the face there. Again, mask up. So yeah, the heavier weapons are definitely more devastating, but of course they take more time to wind up, and they take more time to actually swing. It's very balanced, like I said. Overall, you will rarely, if at all, feel like you're in a situation, especially in a one-on-one, where you don't have a chance to win a fight. The team play comes into this in a huge way, especially because it is all about those. Insta-kill again by that guy. It is all about those either one-on-one, or you want to be definitely in the group that has more guys as far as enemy versus friendlies. You definitely want to have more of your friends there in a fight than you're fighting against enemies. Because if you get ganged up on, you'll very rarely live. And a lot of times I'll try to run, and that never works out. The best thing to do is just kind of stand in there, and hopefully somebody will come to your aid. Oh, this guy's running away. Looks like, yeah, that attack I did there. It's a charge attack, basically attack. They call it tackle, but you don't really tackle. And kill him. Got him. Of course, the overhand strikes are very, very effective. But of course, they take longer to wind up. And they take longer to swing. So it's great if you. That guy's a real problem. He's caught me with that pole axe a couple times. Also, I mean, for people coming from consoles, if you don't play PC all that regularly, the controller support, the way they've got it built into this game, really feels great, and they really do a great job of leveling the playing field. I never feel like, in some first-person shooters, you can kind of feel outclassed at times. And I'm not going to get into the whole argument of whether controller, mouse, and keyboard is better. I prefer for action games, especially third person, to play with a controller. But there are those people who see Team Fortress 2 on PC that, I mean, you playing that game with a mouse and keyboard versus a controller, you always have an advantage. And this is just not the case in War of the Roses. So basically, you've got your you don't have much of a HUD, other than the circle there with your arrow count. And I'm going to play as an archer again, kind of see if I can do a little better than I did last time. There we go. There we go. Yeah, those headshots are always great. As an archer, you're definitely, kind of a sniper, kind of a support class. You don't really want to be up close, obviously, because you don't have any armor. You're basically just wearing cloth. Anyone with a heavy attack will take you down in one shot, or at least wound you badly enough your screen goes red. So anyway, yeah, this game's available on Steam. The Steam sale is coming up, and I imagine it'll be discounted. I think right now, actually, it is discounted to $5 on Amazon.com, and that's a Steam key. So this game is totally worth it for $5. It is multiplayer only, except for the challenges or the training maps. But man, I'm telling you right now, if you have any interest in medieval warfare or third-person multiplayer games where the shooting and the combat really is spot on the way it should be, please check this game out. People, I cannot stress how much I enjoy this game so far. It really is such a fresh take on multiplayer. It is really refreshing to have some kind of difference out there as far as what you normally see. I will be reviewing this for FateOfTheGame.com in its current release situation, and you can look forward to that coming soon. Remember, I'm Dalton Miller at Tales of Dalton, and you can find me writing regularly at FateOfTheGame.com. Check back for more reviews, more rundowns, more previews, more news, and anything else we can think of. So stay with us and stay tuned. Peace.